Millions of Americans are once again waking up to snow, freezing temperatures, and most importantly, no power, days after a deadly winter storm. Any reprieve from the conditions going to have to wait because another blast of winter weather is forecast today across the south and into the northeast, and it's going to no doubt bring even more hardship, particularly to those areas in the south unaccustomed to the conditions. Texas, one of the hardest hit states, and that is where CNN reporter Daryl Forges is this morning. He is live in Houston, right there in the thick of things. What a horrific situation unfolding where you are, Daryl. Bring us up to date with the latest conditions.
Yeah, Heather, the winter misery continues here in the Lone Star State. Now, right now, we are still getting another round of below freezing temperatures, which has caused some icy road conditions for some parts of people here in Harris County and Houston, Texas, as also other parts in eastern and central Texas. But people here in this area, Heather, say that they're just ready for this nightmare to be over. They're just done with this. We've had people who've been without power since Sunday. This has caused so many problems. Now, ERCOT, the group that is responsible for the power grid here in the Lone Star State, say that some good news. They've had some people with lights back on. Yesterday, they had about 2 million people without power. That has now gone down to about 1 million people, so some good news there. But again, there's still a lot of people here without power. Now, also, another issue that's happening here, Heather, is people are without running water. We do know that Harris County, which is the fourth largest county here across the country, they had to issue a water boil advisory for their people here because of the conditions of the water. So overall, it's just been a tough thing to see. But at this point, we've seen a lot of people do some things to keep warm. We've seen people grab some of their paintings off their walls, their children's blocks and toys, throwing them in the fire pits in order to keep themselves warm. So it's just been a big issue for some people all across this area, Heather.
You know, I mean, just such, as you said, such misery, and on it goes. And there's been so much finger pointing and blame about how this happened. A lot of politics coming into all of this, too. Can you tell us about that, too, Daryl?
Yeah, Heather, there's been a lot of finger pointing going back and forth. We've heard from Texas Governor Greg Abbott really pointing fingers, making some false accusations about renewable energy and with some bad things that the Green New Deal proposed by Democrats would do if this was to happen with renewable energy. Some false accusations there. But he's also been pointing fingers towards ERCOT, saying that they need to be investigated for the things that they're doing. Now, ERCOT has said that, hey, look, we have been trying to conserve energy because if we have not been able to conserve energy, we could have been without power here for not just a few days, but perhaps even a few months. But Heather, people here in this area and all across the Lone Star State don't want to hear any politics. They just want their lights to be back on and for the water boil advisory to be lifted, because right now, many just cannot take this. We've seen pictures and videos, Heather, of icicles on fans. We've seen cars completely frozen. We've seen children and families inside of their vehicles trying to get warm some way, somehow. In fact, Heather, we've seen people die of carbon monoxide poisoning, parking their vehicles inside their garages, keeping them running and trying to stay warm. But we've had people die of carbon monoxide poisoning. That's how carbon monoxide gets built around closed areas, and that's how some people are dying, just desperate to find ways to stay warm.
More than 30 and counting at this point. The crisis worsens, and Daryl, thank you for telling us all about it. Really appreciate that. Daryl Forges is in Houston this morning.